Admiral Jace Rydell had been in negotiations rooms, war rooms, interrogation cells, and diplomatic halls across half the spiral arm, and yet nothing. Not the sight of a dying star, not the approach of an enemy dreadnought, felt as unreal as standing before the Empress of the KHYR. 1,000 crystalline filaments dangled from the vaulted ceiling of the alien throne chamber. Each filament emitted a soft chime whenever someone breathed, giving the entire room the uncanny impression of inhaling and exhaling beside him. And at the far end, upon her throne grown from a living column of iridescent bone, sat Queen Saraxavul, ruler of the KHYR Dominion and scourge of the Terran Republic for 6 bloody years. Her eyes, 6 of them, glowed like molten emeralds. Her voice was a resonance rather than a sound, vibrating through the chamber and, to Jace's surprise, through his very ribs. "Admiral Rydell," she said, "you have fought fiercely. Too fiercely. You have proven your worth. And so I present you with the only terms under which this war ends." Jace squared his shoulders. "Name them." The Queen rose, her silhouette tall, sinuous, and undeniably majestic. "You will marry me." The chamber seemed to hold its breath. Even the chimes grew still. Jace blinked. "I beg your pardon. You heard me, human." A faint smile curved across her angular, bioluminescent features. "The Dominion requires a consort capable of unifying 2 civilizations. Choose you. Refuse. And our fleets resume bombardment at dawn." For the first time in years of serving as the Republic's chief military strategist, Jace was completely, utterly speechless. The beginning of an impossible bargain. The war between Earth and the KHYR had erupted over resource claims on the border worlds, but it had escalated into something far more personal. Millions dead. Entire cities vaporized. Planets scorched. Yet Saraxa's terms made no military sense. Jace took a breath, reminding himself he wasn't just a soldier anymore. He was the last hope for peace. "Your Majesty," he said carefully, "forgive my bluntness, but political union through marriage isn't exactly standard procedure for humanity." Saraxa descended the steps of her throne, each movement impossibly fluid, her voice echoing with amusement. "Nor is mercy standard for the KHYR. Yet here we stand. Our traditions allow the Queen to choose any being of proven honor as consort, provided they share the will to lead." He paused. "You have that will. I have seen it in battle." Jace tried not to imagine how many KHYR she had seen him kill to form that opinion. "And what," he asked, "would such a marriage entail?" "A merging of our peoples, our cultures, our future. Symbolic peace. True peace." Her expression hardened with a regal seriousness. "And before you assume I desire you for superficial reasons, know this. Your strategic mind, your capacity for ruthlessness tempered by restraint, your ability to inspire loyalty. These qualities are genetic treasures to my species." Jace stiffened. "Genetic? You're talking about heirs?" "Of course. A union without legacy is meaningless." He swallowed. Hard. Diplomats on both sides would faint if they heard this. But Jace knew the truth. The Republic was losing the war. Supplies dwindling. Colonies overrun. Morale fraying. This might be the galaxy's strangest ultimatum. But it was also the best chance humanity had. Between duty and destiny. Jace was escorted to a temporary chamber. Half guest suite, half golden cage, while the Queen allowed him a night to consider his answer, though they both knew the alternative was annihilation. He paced before a panoramic window showing the alien capital. Towering spires spiraled upward like the bones of titans. Ribbon-like transport vessels glided through the atmosphere with mathematic precision. The sky shimmered with auroras, glowing blue and violet as if stirred by invisible tides. Saraxa had called it Vorlon, the heart world, the core of her empire. No human had ever set foot here before. No human had ever been offered marriage by the queen either. He thought grimly. He thought of Earth, of the smashed cities on Luna still rebuilding, of the soldiers who followed him into unwinnable battles because they believed he'd find a way out, of his sister, her home world lost, her family scattered. If peace could be won, wasn't any price worth paying. Soft chimes sounded. The door slid open. Saraxa stepped in, not armored, but draped in shimmering fabrics resembling wings of living starlight. She radiated a softer luminescence than before, like a star in contemplation. "Have you decided?" she asked. Jace faced her. "Not entirely. I need to understand something first." "Ask." "Why me? Truly. Honestly." She exhaled, and the lights across her skin dimmed. "Because you are the only human the Dominion respects. The only one my people would follow into peace. They do not trust your governments, your diplomats, your admirals. But you have earned their fear and their admiration in equal measure." Her voice dropped to something almost tender. "And because I desire a partner who challenges me, someone who sees beyond my throne." Jace met her 6 glowing eyes and, to his own surprise, saw not a conqueror, but someone tired of endless destruction, someone who sought a future neither species could build alone. "I will consider it," he said quietly. Saraxa's expression softened. "Then sleep well, Jace Rydell. Your choice will shape 1,000 years. A war ends with a word." At dawn, the queen stood once more upon her throne platform. Her war council gathered like a semicircle of armored titans. Jace stood at her side, heart pounding. "Human," she said, voice echoing. "Give your answer." Jace drew in a long breath. "Your Majesty." "Queen Saraxavul, I accept your terms." A ripple of shock coursed through the council. Some hissed, some bowed. Some stood frozen like carved obsidian. But Saraxa stepped forward, her expression a blaze of triumph and relief. "Then let it be known across the stars, the war between the Dominion and the Terran Republic ends this day." The chamber erupted into resonant chimes, a sound like 1,000,000 crystal bells singing in unison. She extended a hand, clawed, elegant, glowing. Jace took it. The contact sent a faint warmth through his arm, not unpleasant. Saraxa leaned close, her voice a private whisper. "Together we will forge a future they never imagined." Epilogue: A New Dawn. Within weeks, the ceasefire became a binding treaty. Within months, Terran and KHYR scientists worked side by side on reconstruction fleets and colonization efforts. And within a year, the diplomatic union between Admiral Jace Rydell and Queen Saraxavul became the cornerstone of a new interstellar alliance. Some called it absurd. Some called it destiny. Jace called it hope. Strange, unexpected, fierce. And as he stood on Vorlon's balcony beside his alien queen, watching 2 civilizations once torn apart by hatred now weaving themselves into something greater, he realized something profound. Sometimes peace isn't negotiated. Sometimes it must be married.